the tree, and it was the Buddha to be. He wasn't sickly and poor and anemic like he had previously been when he was practicing with the other ascetic monks. He just ate just enough so that he regained his health. And from that, he worked out this teaching called the middle way. And this is something which there wasn't, but they didn't know, so they just felt that I was joining in with them, and I didn't offend them by saying, "Oh, I won't come because I don't want to drink." Yes, you know he disrobed? Yeah, because when he went to Sri Lanka to... Yes, you know he disrobed? Yeah, because when he went to Sri Lanka to...
นะคะส่งท้ายปีเก่าต้อนรับปีใหม่ Welcome all my friends everywhere in the world นะคะมาเซ็นร่วม marriage ก็คือ We mix we don't talk but we know that we born in Thai from generation but we speak Lao but we are Thai you know what I mean
2024 and a happy 2567. She just ate just enough so that he regained his health. And from that, he worked out this teaching called the middle way. And this is something...
Just have Palang food.
Okay, very good, very good.
I want to offer this one.
Okay. He's going soft. That's the term we use in the West. They thought he was being too lazy, too luxurious, because he wouldn't... The blessing of the triple gem, very powerful blessing of the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha, which one of the I still went along because it was my obligation to my friends, to my family to join in these celebrations. But I just didn't drink any alcohol and I had just as good must come quickly. And so she came and saw who was sitting underneath the tree, and it was the Buddha to be. We don't live in twig and straw huts. Do you live in a twig and a straw hut, Wasana? You live in a real brick house. Perspective, my teacher Ajahn Brahm, when he was in Thailand, he just had like a straw hut, just made of twigs and wood in that process. But he realized after eating the milk rice and not making a pig of himself and eating too much, that we can apply in our everyday life. Not being too lazy, not being too strict on ourselves, but finding a middle way. And when you look at the people that come to our monasteries, the Westerners, and they look at what we sleep in, a little hut 3 meters by 2, and he was practicing as a monk. He wasn't a Buddhist yet, because he wasn't a Buddha yet. So, through his stomach, because he hardly ate anything, like 1 grain of rice a day. And his tummy sucked so dry because he wasn't...
We don't know, we just meet. But we are considered Thai, we not Lao, but we speak that language, but might be our generation from now.
Siddhartha Gautama. And Siddhartha said to Sujata, "I'm not a tree data, I'm just a human being, a normal human being."
นะคะส่งท้ายปีเก่าต้อนรับปีใหม่ Welcome all my friends everywhere in the world นะคะมาเซ็นร่วม marriage ก็คือ For us same อาจารย์ Thank you very much everyone Bye bye สวัสดีค่ะ
Too crowded here. Albany is probably the number 4 and others getting hurt. Sometimes even car crashes and people can die. So we all need to be very careful. The blessing of the triple gem, very powerful blessing of the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha, which one of the then you get it makes things very difficult. So what the Buddha worked out was that
over there, mommy.
You have to put that food, David, please. Put food. Or put the rice.
And David put first.
So you want me to say a few words for you?
Yeah, please sit down, Papa, because it's a new year. That's why I want you to people a lot. And then
So, I don't want to know.
you can.
For Sangha was the fourfold Sangha. So not just the monks and the nuns, but the population in WA, Western Australia. You have Perth, and then I think second is which there wasn't, but they didn't know, so they just felt that I was joining in with them, and I didn't offend them by saying, "Oh, I won't come because I don't want to drink." My teacher came from the Thai forest tradition, Butpho. When you consider that, when you compare that to Australian monasteries,
Please, David, yes. The culture, the language, is just like Malaysia and Singapore. They say the same family, but they're not like Vietnam. They're not like. Sawadika, 30th of December.
if you're going to drink alcohol, it's not something that Buddhists we like to do. We don't like to get drunk. The celebration's enough so that you can be with your friends and family, have a good time without getting too silly. So find that middle way. You don't need fun. And then when I saw my friends and family starting to get silly, then it was time for me to go home. So I didn't want to see and celebrate on New Year's Eve. Just think about the middle way. Not going too crazy, but joining in. Goodness, how can you sleep in that? Where's your television room? Where's your toilet? Where's your shower? You don't have any of those things. So from a child, happiness and well-being. Let me take a drink. And so that you are free from harm. He tried to get closer to enlightenment. He had a few friends, and those friends thought that the way yes, you know he just rode? Yeah, because when he went to Sri Lanka, the celebration's enough so that you can be with your friends and family, have a good time without getting too silly. So find that middle way. You don't need, because this is what happens sometimes when we drink alcohol. People get silly and they do things they wouldn't normally do when they're drinking. And that we can apply in our everyday life. Not being too lazy, not being too strict on ourselves, but finding a middle way. And I've seen in the days when the Buddha was around, a long time ago, 2,600 years ago, the Buddha was around. Our Facebook page is called BSWA, Great Southern. That stands for Buddhist. I'm not drinking much. And what happened was, the Buddha got very sick. He almost died. He could feel his backbone. He just ate just enough so that he regained his health. And from that, he worked out this teaching called the middle way. And this is something, and you get, it makes things very difficult. So, what the Buddha worked out was that after cow.
Yeah.
Even if it's rice for the month, still called cow.
Yes.
Or they're called cow. Well, anyway, this lady came to offer this milk rice to the tree spirits. Etena sachawajena sotite hotu saba. Siddhartha Gautama. And Siddhartha said to Sujata, I'm not a tree deva, I'm just a human being, a normal human being.
Better because you speak more language.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That word can eat yet.
I know the word for that is Ron Makmak. And Perth is very hot, so they come to Albany. It's closer to the South Pole. Perspective, my teacher, Ajahn Brahm, when he was in Thailand, he just had like a straw hut, just made of twigs and wood. We have the 4 form Sangha. We have bhikkhus.